I'll tell you what I am worried about. Regardless of how I feel about Hugh Freeze, regardless of my estimation of the man, the thing that I can't take away from him is that he's a good football coach. And at this point, that's all Auburn seems to care about. Can we be competitive? Can we win? The rent is high in the SEC. Can we get it done? Let's go get Hugh Freeze. It doesn't matter. Now, as far as the football coach is concerned, I think Auburn made a good choice. He's a fine football coach. You're going to get what you pay for with Hugh Freeze, though. It's just a matter of time. But with all that said, I do think that Georgia's first road game comes after a month into the season, and it is on the Plains in Auburn. That game is difficult and dangerous for a couple of reasons. If you're a Dog fan, you know that Jordan-Hare is not an easy place to play. And you can go so far as to say it doesn't even matter what the schedule is, or what the record is. That is just a dangerous place to go play a game. I bet you $1 to a donut right now that game is at least the 3:30 game, probably a night game. It's going to be lit in Auburn, Alabama. That in itself makes it a dangerous game because, as I mentioned before, you got a new quarterback. You've got new faces in new places. This is going to be their first trip on the road. That alone makes it dangerous. Factor in the fact that Hugh and his snake oil salesman self has done good work in the transfer portal. They have upgraded their talent. Are they good enough to compete with Georgia? At this point, I say no. But they are better. And couple atmosphere and experience, high levels of emotion, the ball being shaped funny, that game is a dangerous game. It's dangerous anyway because it's Auburn. It's especially dangerous right now in this window for the Dogs. So that's one of those games that I'm really looking forward to. I want to see how they perform on the road, but I am going into it with red light spinning. That one, look out, be ready to go. The next one, you got to make your way another 2 or 3 weeks down the season. But it's not the Tennessee game. Everybody knows that should be a challenge for the Dogs, even though they've owned Big Orange in Knoxville the last 3 trips up there. No, not that game. The week before, Ole Miss comes to town. Now, we don't know about Ole Miss mostly because of the transfer portal. I think Jackson Dart's going to be the guy at quarterback. I do think we're going to see Spencer Sanders in some form. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but I think we're going to see him. Quinshon Judkins is the real deal. Probably the best running back in the country. That's who they want to be, and then they're going to do everything off of that run game. When I was talking to Quinshon at SEC Media Days, he flat told me, I asked him the question. I said, nobody's run the ball on Georgia in 4 seasons. They're giving up about an average of 78 yards a game on the ground. I said, so this is your first trip going to Athens. You saw the atmosphere for the Tennessee game last year. So tell me, what do you think about the atmosphere? What do you think it's going to be like? And how do you feel about facing that Dogs defense? Quinshon told me last year they knew we were going to run the ball, and we ran it anyway. I just don't know if Quinshon's going to be able to say that when he gets between the hedges. History tells us that the Dogs are going to have a plan to shut that down. But with that said, we just don't know about Ole Miss. That game is dangerous. It's dangerous because they have talent at key positions. They don't have depth. So that's something that's working in the Dogs' favor. But that is the week before Tennessee. Now, Kirby and the guys, the leadership on the team, have done a really good job over the last 2 seasons of keeping everyone focused, one practice at a time, one game at a time. We should give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not in the building. So I can sit here and talk to you as a fan and tell you that when I look at the schedule of one that might step up and bite the Dogs, that would be one of them. So now I'm officially on record. Do I think that the Dogs are going to win their games this season? Do I think that they're going to go 12-0? I honestly do. Because of the strength of the schedule, because they've owned Tennessee. Tennessee has issues along the lines of scrimmage. They have depth, questions. The defense has to be improved. And unless they can learn to run the football against the Dogs, which no one has done, Georgia beats Tennessee. But Auburn and Ole Miss both stick out as sore thumbs to me that could prove to be more than a little painful if the Dogs don't handle their business 1 week at a time until we get there.
We will not be hunted at the University of Georgia. I can promise you that.